All right, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? You are now experiencing the Wolf Den Radio Show. This is welcome to the Wolf Den Radio Show. We're moving into the Wolf King channel for access to you and also to the rest of the world. Anyway, we got the side panelists. We got Xbox Bean and Chazwold Almighty. So Chaz, want to start off with Gamergate. Chaz, what it
Just give me
is
2
about
minutes.
this?
Just give me
By
2
all means,
minutes.
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just having a bite to eat there.
Yeah, what is
So,
the Gamergate thing? What is that about?
well, Gamergate is just a shared opinion by a lot of people that there's a lot of corruption and a lot of stupid shit going on in the gaming industry. Now, the main thing that brought it to a head, because lots of people have been grumbling about how game developers were coming to like online journalists and online game reviewers and let's players, and giving them money and products and stuff like that in order to try and coax good reviews. But there was this one girl called Zoe Quinn who invented a crap game called Depression Quest, who then, in the period of releasing her game, set with 5 guys who work in the field of game development and online journalism, whose name has an opinion. And all of these people, funnily enough, at about the same time, wrote favourable things about her game. Now, what happened was this all came out because her ex did a tell-all thing on the internet where basically he found out that she had cheated on him, and so he exposed that she had cheated with a load of these guys. What then happened is like on one day, like 10 articles were released. I think it was about 10 or 14, saying the exact same thing. Gamers were dead, the identity of gaming was dead, blah, 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 blah. Obviously sensing a kind of like a nepotistic version of look at the car keys, jingle, jingle, don't look at what I'm doing. That everybody went, well, this is obvious bollocks, and then that's when the hashtag Gamergate came about. It's not about attacking women. It's not about attacking women in gaming, and it's not about race neither. They've been saying, oh, it's these white male misogynists, sexists, blah blah blah. That's all this. No, they're not attacking Anita Sarkeesian because she's a woman. They're not attacking Lee Alexander because she's a woman. They're attacking these people because they're fuck-assing about.
Yeah.
And everyone's just gotten about sick of it. Now, 90% or plus of the people involved with tweeting stuff and talking about Gamergate encourage any type of violent or anything like that. But there is some wondering to suspect whether or not some of these quote-unquote threats that these feminists have been saying they've received are actually real, as in sent to them by another person. And they seem to be attacking 8chan and 4chan and trying to just blame everything. Everything in these places is just, the problem with society. As if they've got some final solution to that problem they're about to roll out. And I can't remember who in life that might remind me of.
Well, I remember, hearing that case about Anita Sarkeesian being threatened by people, but it's really just compare and contrasting. I remember this guy in the States who apparently had this hypothesis or theory that apparently Video games cause young people to be violent, even though the experts and the sociologists and people working in the field had confirmed that there's no correlation to this, nor any causation. But despite that, he was still very adamant about his opinion. He got death threats and stuff like that, but no one, actually came to his aid. But we're seeing something really different when it's a woman, and especially due to the fact that her blatant intellectual dishonesty with regard to like her methodologies, the fact that she got like a shit ton of money to make a little video series, and it was actually revealed in one clip that she actually made the point that she didn't like video games because she considered the whole thing to be gross to begin with. So, I mean, look,
Yeah.
I'll give this to Anita. She's an intelligent woman. She's very smart and
I would
articulate.
disagree.
And and typically, no, hold on, Chess. And typically, con people have to be like that in order to be successful. Obviously.
She's not that intelligent, really, because she's just very good at manipulating people. Because she did a marketing seminar, which is basically on being the type of salesman who can manipulate people, it's just bullshit. All she's doing, and it's things a 5-year-old child can do, is go, boom, I've done the bad thing. Everybody telling me I've done the bad thing is the bad person.
Is that what
And
was for the threats? Was that why she was showing up on the news yesterday?
yeah, well, it's a great bit of publicity for her. It draws more attention back to her video series, which has obviously been, people have been forgetting about Anita Sarkeesian a bit. And so she has to remind us all that, she's there and that everybody hates her. And they shouldn't, because she's just trying to do everybody a favour by exposing the rampant sexist and misogynistic overtones in video gaming, which is a surprising thing considering that that's then trying to say that thoughts are crimes in a way.
Right.
Because when you play GTA 5, you're given choices just much like you are by how we experience reality. Games are just an extent of reality with
Right.
some fantasy thrown in. I can't go around and shoot hookers with a gun and then beat their corpse to death with a baseball bat and set them on fire in real life. I can do that in video games. I
Yep.
don't then go and translate that to my real life, because most people know the difference between fantasy and reality. There are a
Right.
few scary individuals who don't. What we try and do is we try and correct their behaviours when we can and remove them from society when we can't. That's what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I could see the video games being a visualization of what you're thinking. I mean, just because you can do that in a video game doesn't mean that's what everybody does in that video game. I mean, it's I very know little about the Gamergate thing, or I knew about the Depression Quest, but
Well, I mean, Not Your Shield came out not long after, which was a bunch of women who work in game development and are on the side of Gamergate, sort of showing their support and saying, no, we're not your shield. You can't say that you're speaking for us as a marginalised group. We don't agree with you. But all of this isn't being covered. I mean, even the HuffPost tried to show some balance by having the owner of 8chan, or like one of the founders of 8chan on there, and some other guy. And, everyone's just calling it a hate group. Like 8chan is nothing more than a hate group, blah, 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 blah. And, and there was nothing but attempts to try and frame the narrative as being it's all about sexism and misogyny and the hating of women. It's just fucking lunacy.
that's what it sounds like. Anything else in the headlines that you got for us, Wolf?
Okay, let's see. Let me just pull up the
Did
clips
you have
and
something
see what
else?
I got in my collection.
Did you have something
Hmm.
else to say about that? Or?
Yeah. Well, no. I think that's okay. Now let's see. Hold on a second. Let me just mute and see what we got here.
You'll have to hit on the Oakland.
Okay. Okay. Pat Robertson. Oh yeah, we're gonna deal with that a little later. But right now we're gonna talk about Pat Robertson, latest stupid shit he said about this. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, he commented about this letter. Hold on, let me just play the clip out. Okay, and here we go.
Planning to go on a mission trip to Kenya in December. I believe that God heals today, and I'm not consumed about the chance of contracting Ebola. I'm also a person who's willing to take practical precautions. However, some friends and family think that my decision to travel is foolish during this season, saying that I'm testing God and asking if I have a death wish. What do you think? I do not believe I'm being foolish, and I want to honor those around me, but I want to follow God's call in my life most of all. Do you think there are undue risks that we do not know about and the dangers are higher than perceived here in America? Oh, not in Kenya. And you might get AIDS in Kenya. The people have AIDS. You got to be careful. I mean, the towels can have AIDS.
Okay, so that was Pat Robertson, warning this lady who obviously wants to make an impact in the world, which is respectful, fighting Ebola, warning her not to go to Kenya because you can get AIDS from the towels, and that's just retarded because that's not you can't contract AIDS from towels. It's about whether or not you contract it through. You can only contract it through saliva or specifically blood or something. You can't get it like that. That's just not how it works. It's not just ignorant, but it's also well. I mean, you could say it is slightly racist in the sense that it. I mean, it doesn't work like that. It's stupid. But what do you guys think about this?
Yeah, he's just an idiot, and it's a playing on fear of people and playing on. I don't know that he's really that stupid, or maybe he is. I don't know.
Well, now come on. What it could have meant is you can catch AIDS from a towel in Kenya by using the towel um, to mop up an open wound on an AIDS-infected person, and then cutting yourself all over and rubbing the towel all over your cuts. I mean, you could transmit AIDS possibly like that, but you'd have to do it very quickly after because the towel would eventually, most of the virus would start dying. So
Maybe it was my ignorance that was the problem
yeah,
there.
maybe you're fucking wrong, Xbox, and just picking on that poor, defenseless man. I mean, Pat Robinson's not here to explain himself, and if we just jump to conclusions and assume he's an idiot just because of most of the times when he opens his mouth, nothing but virile nonsense comes out. I mean, how much of a cunt are you? I mean, a broken clock can be right twice a day. Why the fuck can't Pat Robinson? Apart from obviously the fact that he's a complete imbecile and a fucking moron, but
Oh, no, did you catch? Was the first part of that video that lady said that she knew if God was going to protect her from Ebola, but she's going to take practical precautions or something along those lines? Is that what I heard?
I mean, the way, I mean, she sounds religious, and she wants to. Obviously, she recognized that Ebola is a serious issue, and she wants to, go there and like help the people. I guess. I mean, see, this is but her relatives and her friends are saying, "Oh, you're testing God. Don't go out there. Your God's not going to protect you," and it's really crisscross and nonsense. I mean, you talk all this stuff about Jesus and about how he goes out and help people, the sick and the downtrodden and shit like that. But when it's time to actually practice that shit, it's either ignorance or just some other sophistry bullshit that they want to play up. I mean, you got these Republicans, for example, asking for a traveling ban. I mean, how is that gonna help treat this disease out there?
Right. It stops the spreading.
It's not.
Help them
It
at all.
just stops it getting to you. It's exactly how the Australian government has been operating its borders for many years.
Yeah. Yeah, it does nothing to help humanity in the sense. I mean, it does in humanity, but doesn't help the outbreak or the people that have it or are likely.
No, and it still leaves it there. It still allows it chance to know. With viruses, you try and nip them in the bud. You quarantine who's got it. You burn down fucking anything that's been in contact with it. Just anything else is just daft.
Yeah.
Right.
The dissidents there on God protecting them, but still taking precautions is just a wild thing too. It's just beyond me. I can't imagine.
But,
Yeah,
I mean,
honestly, hold on for a second, Chaz. Honestly, you know, it's all about like providing the funds and the medical research, you know, to try and like prevent and alleviate this disease, you know, rather than talking about like you know whether or not this is God's punishment on us or like some supernatural bullshit, because that's not providing a viable solution to how to better deal with this thing. But yeah, go ahead. You guys give your final thoughts, and then we're gonna move on to the next issue, I think.
I watched a thing today that was showing that Ebola has been at least identified since the 70s. But the reason that there's not a vaccine is that it's pretty much been sporadic and off continent from here kind of thing. So it hasn't been on a priority list. It's not that they haven't been working on it. It's just it hasn't been up to a high priority. There's been other things. You know, a pharmaceutical company is going to sell you a pill, put the money in to sell you a pill every day rather than something that's going to clear off.
That's not true. Vaccines have been proven to be the best thing in treating disease. So vaccines are going to be one of the things that people are more likely to buy.
Oh, for sure. I was just. It's
so,
not
for a pharmaceutical company, selling people pills that they have to take every day doesn't actually make financial sense because people are going to be less likely to buy into that medication.
Not the vaccine every day, like selling other things, cancer treatments and things like that.
Oh no! If they could vaccinate cancer out, it would make that pharmaceutical company a load of money. So they would go to making the vaccine instead of trying to just milk people.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean that they were putting the research in the pills to sell you a pill every day. I mean, and that's their priority on their thing is putting money into the things that they are making money from now. Whereas the vaccine it's still there's actually it's the only vaccine that has come out has come from a pharmaceutical company.
What are you talking about? The one for HPV?
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't meaning anti-vaccine or anti-pharmaceutical or anything along those lines. It just hasn't been up on their priority list. And even if they were to pretty much perfect it now, we're saying rollout still wouldn't be until 2016 at the very earliest. I was meaning more like a funding issue. Most of the places that have done the research on it are government funded.
Right. Okay. So, okay, hold on one second. I'm just gonna check what's next on tap. Okay, we got. Okay. Now, who's that guy from Brian Fischer? Yes, Brian Fischer. He's apparently he's got something to say about Obama in regards to his connection with the gay agenda. Let's see. Pulling it up.
Smith is a hard-carrying liberal. He has been outed as an active homosexual. He's down with the entire homosexual agenda. People think he's on Fox, so he's conservative, anything but. So realize that now Shepard Smith skews pretty hard to the left in his politics. That means he Anthem in the direction of backing and supporting President Obama and having President Obama's back. Why? We want to support President Obama because President Obama supports the homosexual agenda. The Republican Party's platform at least does not. So those were separate steps.
Okay, so that was Brian Fischer going ape shit on this guy Sherry Shepherd because apparently because he has some leanings towards the left, he's apparently a bad guy because therefore he agrees with Obama on some issues, and apparently as a result, wait, Sherry Shepherd, yeah, that's the working act. I believe it is. Is it that actress? Most likely, yeah, because with regards, they support the whole gay agenda thing as a result. So, what do you guys think? I think it's just personally, it's just ignorance. It doesn't really help the situation, and more importantly, on the issue of gay rights and stuff like that, it's kind of like the equivalent of beating a dead horse. I mean, there's no real good secular empirical reason for why it should be illegal, and gay people contribute as much as any other straight person in society. So giving them their rights and stuff like that, that's just the next big step. So I mean, all this is just it's just gibberish. But what do you guys think about it? I want to hear your thoughts.
I didn't know that.
Well, I still want to know exactly what they mean by the gay agenda. And like, if it's the agenda that all gays are about and know of, then how do they know about it? Are they gays? Have they like kidnapped gays to study?
Maybe. I mean, they got those pray away the gay things. Still got those straight camps and stuff like that.
They're pretty confident about that.
I think it's just their homophobia and bigotry just showing a bit there. I think that's what it actually is. We don't really understand this, but it's bad, so... And that's all you need to know about this thing, is that it's bad. If you can't understand that the gay bows are bad, I mean, you obviously haven't read your Bible. God quite clearly says now, I don't like bummers. I don't know how hard it is for people to read. That seems to be sort of like where they're coming from with it. I mean, God quite clearly said, two men lie together, all gay-like, yeah. However, if it's with God, in the case of Nephilim freeze wank fantasies, perfectly okay.
Right, I know, right? But that also doesn't stop him from like checking out prostitutes and escorts and shit like that. I imagine he probably might have a few males on the side. What you think, Xbox?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I can't believe people still listen to Brian Fischer. To follow things or have that same kind of mindset as him. It's just nuts. And most of the gay bashing comes down to that, like Chaz was saying, that's icky. There's an ick factor to them. No other reason than a social reason that it's an ick factor. But they'll bind to things saying, well, these STDs are only passed like that, and which is demonstrably untrue, but they still buy into it. So.
I can understand the concept of a gay Republican. I like the fact that some would even actually agree with those concepts. But that aside, this whole bitching about the government and like apparently having people collectively come together to solve solutions using the best ideas and reason and skills we have. That's not a bad thing. That encourages you have a sense of freedom and equality right there. I mean, because we're constantly testing ideas and striving for some idea of progress. For one, that's exactly how we got from A to B in like the last few hundred years. That's only gonna excel us in the future. But we're living in.
What was
we're just, huh?
What was his discrediting? Why should we discredit not Brian Fischer, but whoever he was talking about? Why should we discredit them? Just
Apparently,
besides their...
apparently they've been seen on Fox News and stuff like that, but they have liberal leanings. Therefore, they trust the government and Obama. You know, it's following the gay agenda, and it's nothing but gibberish.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. That's what I was wondering. Any clarity in there, but there's none that I could hear.
Yeah, it is really nothing. I mean, when you put on these clips, they consist of absolutely no intellectual content, which we hear it very closely. Speaking of which, let's see. Let's see. Where's that quote? I couldn't get a clip in time, but I did snag a quote from once proud, now shamed owner of Blaze, owner/star of Blaze, Glenn Beck, with regard to the whole Ebola thing. Okay, listen, and quote. This is from Glenn Beck. Oh wait. Well, no. Fuck. We're done. Brian Fischer's a joke. Yeah, quote from Glenn Beck. Listen to me carefully. Do not trust whatever the government tells you. If they tell you basically to take medicine, don't trust them. If they tell you to go to a certain place to be safe from Ebola, don't trust them, because that's ultimately how Katrina ended up. Katrina.
What?
Yeah. So apparently the Beckster thinks that we shouldn't trust the experts. We shouldn't trust what the actual authority on these issues is telling us, because apparently, you know, we're playing in this giant conspiracy theory bullshit. You know, I mean, this is the type of friggin' thought that ultimately gets a person friggin' killed, honestly, because I mean, you're not trusting the facts. You're not trusting reality. You're going on what your gut says, and you're not fucking. You don't have the applications or the friggin' or the mental stability to even make conclusions on these things. You don't. Well, what do you guys think?
I just think there are lots of idiots in the world, a lot of fucking loonies, and we kind of need to protect loonies from themselves. But that's very hard to do because they won't listen.
Yep, for sure. And it's one thing to have your own ideas about this stuff. It's like the Glenn Becks that propagate it, that make it a danger to people that are other than that, do think the things through, and even the experts. I mean, it puts them in danger. And then it puts even the experts' opinions to them into question, and it's just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I still get this laughable thing when they go, the gay agenda. Not all gay people are working together. Like when the discussion of gay marriage came up, not every gay person was like, oh yeah, we need some of that.
Right. Oh yeah, I know plenty of gay people that would never get married and don't like the idea of it.
Oh yeah. Gay Republicans, they're not. I mean, you know, they're not. I mean, they're not like walking oxymorons. They literally exist. You know, they do. They do actually appeal to like the right wing base at times. But you know, I mean, you know, there's no big agenda here, and it's and like the whole thing with going back with this with the Glenn Beck deal. It is, you know, he really is a fan of his conspiracy theories, and there's really no rational foundation for it whatsoever. I mean, honestly, I mean, he is appealing to the fringe of the right wing nutter base, and it's a dying breed. It's nothing. It's nothing. If we're talking about like what is empirically rationally based, you're gonna have to trust like what the publicly verifiable evidence says, and it's focused on making sure you get vaccinated, making sure you retain health, a decent quality of health, and to avoid this thing. But final thoughts on this? What do you guys think?
That's what they appeal to is the people that go off their gut and they make their message easier to understand, to almost seem like common sense, and that's easy to buy into. I mean, but we do have brains.
Yeah, but it would be nice if some people use them once in a while.
Right.
And I think it would be also good if they were perhaps honest that they're more interested in bilking money out of people through making money via advertising than they are, you know, really care about whether or not gay people like each other. I think people just need to start paying more attention to their own lives and, you know,
yeah,
Right.
ridiculous.
You use your freaking heads. Recognize that in a free country, if you don't want to do certain things, if you don't want to, if you want to have your ideas, fine. But when you start getting up on a podium, spouting it off like, don't do this, don't do that, like you're either gonna damage someone's life in like emotional way or in fact a very literal way, and then what you're gonna be left with? You're just gonna be left. You're gonna be left with like a worse off potential for society rather than the best solutions you can actually put forth that brings about a greater chance for individual autonomy and societal well-being.
Well, like you said, in a free country, you're trying to remove freedoms from someone else. So you're in a free country, but you only want the freedoms for you, which is a lot of their mindset. As long as it aligns with them, then it's good. Anything else, bad. So.
Exactly right. Now, I got a story that is that's a little bit more well, I wouldn't say fun, but it appeals to it in all of us. And in fact, it's kind of like a big victory for our side, secular people and atheists in general. Okay, now I'm gonna read this story. It's about a guy named Barry Hazel. Barry Hazel is an atheist from California who was incarcerated for a year due to a drug charge before he was released on parole. As a condition of his parole, however, Hazel was required to attend a 90-day residential drug treatment program. Now, although Hazel did not object to attending such a program, he did object to the fact that he was assigned to his 12-step program with explicitly religious content referring to a God and a higher power. As Hazel wrote in an official challenge to the placement, I have committed myself to a full and lasting secular recovery and complete abstinence from illegal drugs, but he objects to forced participation in any spiritual religious activities. Okay, despite his objections, Hazel remained in the religious 12-step program, all while unsuccessfully trying to get transferred to a secular program. A little over a month after he entered the program, however, the program complained that Hazel was a sort of passive-aggressive. Hazel was charged with a parole violation, arrested, and incarcerated for another 100 days. Although the state later claimed that he was removed from the 12-step program due to his own behavior, a federal judge rejected this claim, explaining that the state argument rings hollow in light of the undisputed fact showing that the plaintiff was only disruptive in the program in a congenial way. Basically, he didn't want to go about like having like the religious aspect of it shoved down his throat, right? So basically, just increase it up to this time. He was paroled and later returned. He was returned and he was paroled and later returned to prison in 2007. The final chapter in this story is up to this point he was released and he got $2 million because this is a secular country. First of all, you can't basically tell a person if they do not believe in a deity or if they're secular that they have to do this, that you have to like push their religion on you, because that's not how it works. This is
They were
the democracy.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on, Xbox. Hold on, almost done. Yeah, basically, this is an open secular country, and this is not a theocracy. You know, I mean, we encourage that. They make it very clear in the Constitution that, you know, in this Establishment Clause, Congress shall make no law respecting or establishing like any respect with regard to one religion. This is a secular nation, and it retains equality. You're free to have your ideas, and we're free to think that they're ridiculous. And I'm glad this guy got paid for his like troubles and stuff like that. But what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts about this.
I think it's an atrocity. They forced him to participate in a religious activity or have his freedom taken away. And then on top of that, I mean, take it on the flip side. If a staunch Christian or any religion were forced to participate in a program that either takes away your freedom, or you have to admit that there's not a God.
Yeah, no, I mean, if a Christian was being made to go to an atheist one, they would be up in arms going, oh, but I think it should be all about prayer. Well, you can pray if you want. That's something you can do for you. No, but I think we should be praying together for each other.
But part of that program says you have to admit that you have to give up to a higher authority. So
it's nonsense. It's the worst thing you could tell somebody. An addict needs to alter their behaviors. They need to remove the substance from their system so that their body can realign itself to being without that chemical. And then they need work on changing their behaviors to not be habitual about the use of that drug.
Right. They were kind of telling him, though, believe in God or believe in a higher authority or go back to jail. Because you can't
do that.
You can't get through AA without taking that step of giving up to a higher authority.
You know, you can't force religion on somebody.
And that's why I'm saying that would be like telling the Christian he would have to admit there's no God to pass this course. And if he doesn't admit that, then he's going back to jail.
And I hear that it's only about 5% success rate in the 12-step program. I think the whole thing should just be gotten rid of.
Yeah, that's real. The people that not reoffend, but whatchamacallit, relapse.
Yeah.
Or is real high.
Yep.
Real high period, but then on the stats for AA, they're extreme.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just glad that, you know, this guy got, they gave him like what he deserved for his having that shit pushed on him and then getting locked up merely because he was just speaking his own mind, doing his own thing. I mean, to lock this guy up, that goes against the rational Enlightenment principles that the people that came here that wanted to instill these values on this land. It's honestly hypocritical, and I'm glad they came to realize how ridiculous that doing that was. So, you know,
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just glad that happened, but at the end result, I honestly guess Dreamman is full of shit when he said atheism was dead, because if this is the case, then it's keep going strong, man. Secularization. But your final thoughts, guys?
That was it. How many people are around that case that were involved in it just stood back too and thought it was okay. Nuts.
Yeah. Jazz, your final thoughts?
Well, to be honest, I think it's just another episode of somebody's silly behaviour. It's like with everything, you just see The government makes stupid rules, everybody has to follow. Other people want their own stupid rules enforced by the government, and everybody should have to follow. It doesn't work that way. It's everybody's always trying to push their agenda. It's even like with this 12-step program and stuff, it's just like half the time they try sending people who are just smoking a bit of weed there, as if they're actually going to do anything. And all you're doing is wasting taxpayers' money on a scheme which is going to help no one. People shouldn't be forced to take help. They should volunteer to be helped.
Yeah, that's the only
Because if they're not being volunteering, then they're going to resent and they're going to make it harder on everybody else. Oh, that's it. You've got to go to anger management because, you know, some quack walking around can magically solve all of the problems in the world by holding a group therapy session where everyone talks about their feelings and has a wee hug. Oh, get bent.
And usually it's for the people are around you, not like anger management or whatever. It's to make the people around you feel better that you went to this course, not that you actually got help.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
I mean, the only thing support groups work best for is those that are on the sidelines.
Right.
Like the friends and family of cancer sufferers and survivors.
Yep.
Like they can go to little things and they can talk about to people, you know, who went through knowing somebody with cancer, all of the different emotions and feelings that they had, you know, because they might be just going, oh, my friend had cancer and that makes me feel sad. Really, sadder than the fucker who had cancer. How self-involved are you, love? Some people just need to kick up the arse these days.
Yeah. Speaking of Travis, that's as Elliot, like people need to use their freaking skulls, use some gray matter for God's sake. No pun intended. Anyway, moving on. Okay, things are heating up in Ukraine in the funniest of ways. Here's a little bit of humor for you guys. Okay, article. Darth Vader running for Ukrainian parliament under aegis of Internet Party. The Ukrainian Internet Party is backing a dark horse candidate for parliament in the October elections. It's a guy dressed like Darth Vader.
Awesome.
A series of campaign as the Sith Lord strums the Imperial March on a traditional Ukrainian strumpet instrument, sticks his lightsaber in the dirt, and makes vaguely nationalistic statements in a breathy baritone. It would seem that the recent public relations blitz is intended as patina for Darth Vader's past transgressions. Let the voters not forget that this candidate is nothing more than a sociopathic minion of an evil empire, and that he hunted and nearly killed his own children. On the other hand, maybe this is a solution to that whole Crimea thing, provided superstar destroyers are available. Ukraine parliamentary elections are on October the 26th, according to Mashable. This isn't Darth Vader's first run, and that he's not the only candidate backed by the Ukrainian Internet Party to run under a Star Wars themed name. That's really interesting, but this is really funny. But what do you guys think? Just a publicity stunt, or like some serious thoughts into this, or like what?
It's awesome.
Well, there are a lot of anarchisty type people out there who want to show how absurd politics is. I mean, we once had a group of people here called the Monster Raving Loony Party, which was founded by Screaming Lord Sutch.
Right.
You know, actual political party, because anybody can, in a proper democracy, set up a party.
Like Travis. You sure that guy wasn't Jason Burns? I remember him like ranting about Jesus all the time. You bow the intellectuals me, and you accept Jesus. You will never win God. You will never win God.
Yeah, well, it wasn't Jason Burns. He is just a monster raving loony. He had nothing to do with the Monster Raving Loony Party.
Yeah, I'm glad they have the freedom to be wackos.
Well, you shouldn't mock your politics, because the modern day idea of voting in a dictator and all this stuff is just nonsense. You know, people should have the ability to decide, and a lot of the time, personal decision. There's lots of stuff the government doesn't need to get involved in at all. You know, and it's just stupid because we make up rules. Then that forces the government to have to get involved.
Yep.
And then everybody goes, why is the government getting involved? Look, it's tyranny. Oh, look, we don't like the fact that terrorists came to our door. If only the government did something. We'll start listening to all your phone calls. Why is the government getting involved? You asked us to. I mean, we do send out mixed messages to our government.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where the gay marriage and all that's come. I mean, we talked about, I think, on the last show, where most of us took the stance that it should be out of the marriage completely.
Yeah, there should be no legal marriage. It should have been fuck all to do with the government.
Right. That's a social issue that didn't need to be involved in it. That wouldn't need to be a protected thing.
Yeah, and what people need to do at the moment, it's not have the debate between whether or not to vote for, you know, this major party or that major party, or even these other kind of like sort of more elite, you know, elitist parties like UKIP. You should be voting. Everybody should just be going out to vote. We should just put forward the most absurd candidate, yeah? Right? And then we should all vote for this candidate. And the whole point of this candidate's thing is to just call in a vote of no confidence against our government. And we vote them all in every seat, and we get those bastards out of the Houses of Parliament. Okay? And this government, once they go in, they basically hold a referendum, we restructure our governmental system, and we make this country work properly. And we do that all over the world. We might find that we've got plenty for which to give aid to people, and sensible ways of doing that. We can actually advance as a civilization, not just act like a bunch of backwards-ass monkeys that haven't learned from the last 100, 200 years.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is we've learned enough to now to not necessarily start with a clean slate. We wipe everything to the footing that we've learned in those past few hundred years. We don't have to keep changing these incremental things that are just half-assed band-aids that never actually are a step to that change.
Yeah. And we need to stop seeing politics as like a for and against, a dichotomy. Nobody is truly a fully Republican person, and no one's truly a full Democrat. Yep. You know, there'll be people who are like, well, I vote Republican, I follow them, but I also like abortion, and you know, I think socialized medicine might actually be the way to go for America in this day and age.
Yeah, the ideologues scare me that are like that. No matter what the Republican votes for, or the Liberal or the Democrat, that's what they vote for. No matter.
Yep.
I bet actually, if you looked into your thing, there'll be a lot less Democrats voting against Republicans than you might think.
Hey guys. Speaking of, it's an interesting thing that you brought up, like the whole pro-life thing, because we're gonna hit on I believe we're gonna hit on one more story, I think, before we wrap this up. Okay. I'm getting this from Addicting Info. Okay. Pro-life, religious fanatics trying to stop Ebola vaccine research. Contradictory, I know, right? But let me just read to get more in depth in this. Okay. In their never-ending quest to put the life of fertilized eggs and undeveloped fetuses over the actual life of human beings, the pro-life movement has started to put up a stink about 2 potential vaccines for Ebola, the disease that is currently paralyzing the ignorant with unjustified fear. This week's outrage is from Children of God for Life, and they put out a press release condemning the use of fetal stem cells to develop a vaccine for Ebola. Now I'm quoting this. There is absolutely no reason to use aborted fetal cell lines, stated Debbie Vintage, director of Children of God for Life, at least 2 other Ebola vaccines in development by the University of Texas and GeoVax are using either viral cells or chicken eggs. Likewise, there are therapeutic products such as ZMapp, LeafBio, and TKM Ebola Tecmira that are using plantar viral cells.
Do they think do they think that people are just going? Do they think that people are just going getting abortions so they can harvest these stem cells?
No, but you see,
Well, I
in order
mean,
to
no.
keep harvesting the stem cells, abortion has to
Hold
be
on,
legal.
hold on, Chess. Hold on, Chess. I just need to clarify something right quick. Now, see, the problem is they don't like it because of the whole because of the fact that they're using stem cells, right? Now, you know, stem cells is they're coming about as a result of like the fetuses, you know, being they have stem cells, and those cells can be, you know, programmed to like repair, you know, damaged tissues and such like that, right?
Right.
And you know, it could the research from studying stem cells can actually, you know, have practical benefits to help other lives, you know, like dealing with the whole Ebola thing.
Well, the sentence you said
And
before all
so,
this was that,
yeah,
that you said that they were using aborted fetus as stem cells. That's why I said, do they think that people are just aborting fetuses to harvest these stem cells? Because
it's something like that. It's something like that.
people are going to have the abortion either way, or they think that they're having them on purpose to get these stem cells, which I don't think is happening.
Yeah, actually, Xbox, that's a very good point. Yeah, that's exactly what they think. And the problem is, you know, it's the biggest contradiction because, you know, you're supposed to be all about life, but you're reducing, you're limiting the chances of, you know, of alleviating this disease, which has a serious mortality rate, you know, killing thousands of people. But you just have, because you have a hang up with what happens in terms of like having fetuses, and it's ridiculous. But what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts.
I think it's mainly people are a bit too old and a bit too ignorant of how all of this science stuff works. It's just like to them, no, you're interfering with magic. Oh, you know, how do we know that your stem cell research won't suddenly create a virus that kills us all? I bet Ebola is really actually caused by you touching stem cells. It's God's punishment for your evil doing and killing innocent children. Surely, shouldn't they be on the side of abortions? Because I think if you're a fetus that's aborted, you go to heaven, I've been told. So surely, actually, mothers are actually doing the great thing by not allowing their children to come into the world and be affected by original sin.
Yeah, I agree with all that, and that's why I was asking, because
because that sounds like the system some big fucking supreme being would set up, and not like the crazy ramblings of a Bronze Age person.
Not at all. And just to be halfway clear, T cells are the cells that are pretty much a blank slate. That you put them with liver cells, they'll grow liver cells. You put them with other, they'll turn into those kind of cells. So
That's exactly right, and it's honestly ridiculous. You know, I'm not playing. They really need to use some rational thought in this, because they're not, just the way they're approaching this issue currently. It is not looking good for them.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I want to see the day when we can just give people an injection and they'll have like cells which will just regrow limbs for them.
Right.
They can just automatically reverse any damage and shit like that that's done to you with these, or maybe even some nanobot technology, or both.
Yeah,
you know, I want the day when I could possibly be given superpowers by modern medicine. and I can go back in time and tell everybody I'm God.
What you gotta say, Nick?
As far as I know, there's not these labs or factories that are implanting pregnancies and just harvesting the fetuses kind of thing. I mean, it's almost them. I don't know. It's a nonsense argument. I can't wrap my head.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It's really it's just, it's just an excuse to get. I mean, it's really just a bunch of hang-ups, and it's like this is a necessity. We need this because because we want to reduce the number of people who are suffering currently. I mean, this is just, I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you have something as a byproduct of things that happen beyond a person's control, and and you can use those resources to help a larger number of people. I mean, that's the best way to ensure your individual autonomy and societal well-being. So, I mean, we have to fucking use it. What? Otherwise, hold on a second. Otherwise, it's just gonna be, we're just gonna be dealing with this, with this plague on like a higher scale. I mean, it's just not gonna work practically that way. But what do you guys, what are you guys thoughts on this? Final thoughts on this?
Do these same people?
Basically, it sounds like we're tacitly. Oh, sorry. You go ahead, Xbox.
That's just my one statement. Do these same people speak out against like organ donors that after they die they passed on these organs?
Oh no, that's their choice.
Isn't that essentially the same thing? Just.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
the
organs are only part of like life, but they only trip with when it's like I mean, it's interesting to me, once the fetus develops into a child and it's given birth to, they don't give a damn about it afterwards.
But I think what we're really saying here is that 16-year-olds and so should go out and get pregnant and have abortions so that we can, like, fix the stupid in the world through science.
Yeah, so we can cure Ebola.
Yeah. So you hear that, 16-year-old boys and girls? Start shagging and bring about the technological new stage.
Yeah, basically, make sure you fuck respectfully, and if you don't, if you feel like you can't support order any other way, help save the world.
And don't use towels; you might pass AIDS around.
Exactly right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Wolf's Radio Show with Xbox and Chazwell Almighty. It's going to be on Wolf King's channel from now on. Until then, later, bitches.